So Jordan Peterson came to this event that I'm at last night, and he was talking about in marriage, if you don't have play in your marriage, then that is a fundamental indicator that there is a problem in your marriage. And it made me think. So I've been married for over 20 years. We're coming up on, let's see here, 24 years married. And I can tell you, when Bill wants to play with me, when he wants to be playful, and I feel like there is something wrong between us, that's definitely when I don't want to play. And so I started thinking, wow, it is so absolutely fundamentally important to be able to play with your spouse. I have the story of when our children all were starting to exit the house. We had our two youngest. My son was going to college and our daughter joined the military. And we were looking at being empty nesters for the first time in a very, very, very long time. And it was just like, wow, are we going to get along? What are we going to do together? I mean, I was so ingrained in raising our children. It was such a huge part of my life. And I was thinking, who am I going to be now? And what am I going to do? And Bill and I, it's just going to be the two of us. Anyway, we went to have dinner with some friends of ours. And I love this story because we get in my car and we start driving to dinner, and Bill starts digging around in the little middle console for snacks. And he's like, hey, where's my snacks? And I started laughing at him. I was like, you are such a snacker that you have snacks in your car and my car. And I said, I threw them away because they were open packages and they were old. And I said, we are going to dinner. You're not going to starve to death. And he's like, I want snacks. And he says, he says, I got this $1 million idea and I know it's going to work. And he says, I am going to invent car cookies. And I started laughing, and I was like, that's ridiculous, that no one is going to buy car cookies. And he goes, mark my words, I am going to invent it, and people are going to love it. Then we go to dinner, and he starts telling that to our friends. I'm going to invent car cookies. And they're laughing. And then he goes, let's weigh in with the waitress. And he asks the waitress to come over, and he says, hey, if I invented car cookies, would you buy them? And she's like, yeah, I think I'd probably buy car cookies. This whole conversation, we laughed and had a good time. And then in the car on the way home, my husband decides to, he picks up his phone and he goes, you know what? I'm going to make an infomercial for my car cookies. So he gets his phone out and he's like, oh, babe, I'm so hungry. If only there was a snack. And this whole thing. And we ended up sending it to our friends that we were having dinner with. And they texted back. They're like, now I kind of feel like having some car cookies. And I laughed so hard on the way home that I pulled the car over because tears were streaming down my face because I was laughing at my husband and his ridiculous car cookies. And then it struck me. We're going to be absolutely fine. We are going to be 100% okay because we like each other. And I would say that play is an indicator that you like each other. And if you're not playing together, what a tragedy, because you are missing out on the best parts of your spouse. And if you have trouble playing with your spouse, I would say you need to sit down and figure out what's wrong. Absolutely 100%. You need to be actively seeking why there is something going on in your marriage. And there are two things that I highly, highly, highly recommend. Every single day, you need to spend at least 15 minutes together. 15 minutes face to face, having conversations, and just appreciating each other, talking on a level not like, oh, what do you think of the weather? Actually listening, actively listening to each other. And then the other thing is you need to be going on a date once a week. It's so important. It will help activate that play in the two of you. If you are spending quality time every day and once a week you're going on a date, it is going to make things different. I promise you. Anyway, that's my advice today. And Jordan Peterson, thank you so much. That was valuable.